Welcome to Talk Story, Maui's longest running talk show. And it's so good to have Clarlene Kauhane. I finally get your name right. Here with me today. It's that time of year, the Maui AgFest and 4-H Livestock Fair, coming up June 1st from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at a new location. And yes, you did hear right. It is not only the AgFest, it's combined now with the 4-H Livestock Fair. And it's now at the War Memorial Complex in Wailuku on June 1st. And it's free admission. It's just a $5 parking fee. And it's bigger and better and bigger and better. I mean, a lot bigger, right?
Yes.
A lot bigger and better than ever before. Welcome, Clarlene.
Well, thanks for having us. Aloha, everyone. Well, the event's bigger because we are partnering for the first time with the 4-H Youth Livestock Association. And if you know the association, they usually put on their own event called the Upcountry Fair in mid-June. Initially, way back 12 years ago when we started AgFest, our intent was to combine the events then. But for whatever reasons, we could never do it. And mostly it was a matter of timing. We wanted to have our event in April, and they needed it always to be in June because the winners from their show go over to Oahu for the state competition. So after all these years, we finally have come together and decided, okay, we're going to do it together in June. They pushed their event a little bit earlier, and we moved ours back a couple of months. So we're really excited that we can bring together all of the agricultural sectors in one place for one event. One time of the year, that's going to be in June on the 1st.
Well, at the Tropical Plantation, the old home, it's gotten so big. I mean, really big. Thousands of people. What was the attendance last year?
Well, at the height of it, not counting last year because we had a miserable rainstorm, the thunder,
happened.
But that year, so our numbers were down last year, but the year prior, we had at least almost 7,500 people that went through the event during the whole day. People would come for a couple hours, leave.
That's huge.
It was really gotten very big.
Wow, yeah.
But at the same time, Maui Tropical Plantation has also grown in popularity. So what used to be a very quiet area has now been, really popular. They have people going through there every day, visitors experiencing their grounds, and then, of course, their amazing restaurant, the chef's table.
Yes.
So we're really happy for them. So what ended up happening was that we both got really big, and we couldn't accommodate ourselves there mostly it's because of parking. Every year, there's just such an issue with parking. And,
I remember, yeah.
We want to make it an enjoyable experience for everyone. So with the venue at War Memorial, we have more parking, and there's more street access. People can park, in their own parking across the street if they don't want to park in the paid parking areas that we have set aside for the event. So.
Yeah, and you know what? This is going to be, so people, because I was kind of curious about which entrance and what. So basically you set me straight and said, well, let's think of the Maui Fair, So that's what we're thinking of here if you want to think of the layout.
Correct.
But one of the things you started, was it about 5 years ago, was the Legacy Pancake Breakfast? When did that Maui Legacy Pancake Breakfast start?
I want to say maybe this is our 4th year. We did start the Legacy Pancake Breakfast. Again, it was always something we envisioned being a part of the event. Mm-hmm. So we finally pulled it together a few years ago, and we start the event the day off with a pancake breakfast. And the purpose is to recognize people from the agricultural industry that have made great contributions to their, not just agriculture on Maui, but to their respective industries. So, for example, this year, Arthur DuPont is the honoree for the livestock industry. He just made 90 years old on May 2nd, and you could hardly tell he's 90 years old. I mean, he looks like he's in his 60s. He's really, really in great shape. But, I got to learn a lot from him, and these are people that are nominated by people in the business. So we talk to a lot of the livestock folk, and they give us recommendations on who they feel should be the honoree, and then we kind of narrow it down. And
it's a big honor, and you have quite a list of people who have already received this honor.
Yeah, all the biggies. So, Summer Erdman, Lindy Sutherland was last year, Chuck Borner was last year.
The Baldwin.
Yeah, the Baldwins. Peter Baldwin was one of them. Remember Yee's Orchard for their mangoes that they are so popular for. So just everybody that's done, the Protea, Dr. Parvin, that was a big deal.
Oh,
Everything that
yeah.
he's done for the flower industry. So we're really looking at who has contributed greatly to either the industry as a whole or a specific sector. This year, aside from Arthur DuPont, we're recognizing the Uradomo family, specifically the father of Ira. So it's Masuro Uradomo, and he, was the one that led the whole Maui Onion Growers Association.
Oh, really?
They started that pickling product line, the Maui pickled onions, in all the
Really?
stores, and their business just closed in January I think it was this year. But they were doing no preservatives, pickling before it became, very trendy as it is now today. So we're happy to honor them. That's
And it's
3 or 4 generations of farmers.
Truly an amazing event, and it's funny because there's so many dinners and special events at night, but this is a pancake breakfast, and it's kind of unique to the ag feeling because these are people who get up early and work on the grounds and are out there busy. So
Yes, they probably put in a half day before they come down to have breakfast.
but it's a lot of fun, and you know what? It's really fun to honor them, but also it's a great pancake breakfast, and so there is a charge for that. I mean, the event is free, but for the pancake breakfast, there is a charge, and you can get tickets at Eventbrite. Do you just put in pancake breakfast in Maui?
You can do Legacy Farmers. I think if you just put in pancake breakfast, it pops up pretty quickly. It's $10 for adults, and it's $8 for seniors or kids. And you can basically eat as much as you want, so long as we let everybody go that's there with a ticket, and then people go up and help themselves to seconds or thirds. It's a fun event. There's a tribute to the honorees, and then we usually do door prizes and give away ag products, and it's fun. We played bingo in the past, but we never seem to have enough time to run that.
Right,
So
because there's speeches and
there's
things.
speeches and a lot of things going on.
A lot of
people-
networking and handshaking and things such as that, picture taking.
True.
And that fun stuff. So that starts at 8, and that usually goes to about, what, 9:30,
It
10?
runs till 10
To
or
10?
10:30. Yeah, by the time everybody's out of there.
Now, there's so much going on at that point. You have, of course, the Maui 4-H Youth and Livestock Show going on, and that's going to be kind of over where? Back on the backside there?
It's going to be right where they call them ballparks 4 and 5, and those are
Okay.
the baseball fields that are adjacent or right next to the swimming pool. So closest to the swimming pool, and then not on the street side.
Okay.
So then people can walk from
So that's
the main
backside there,
field
yeah.
to across that little street, which is called Nakoa Street. It's within the parking area, in between the two areas. And so both are free. The auction, the livestock area is going to start at 8. They're going to have all
early.
the animals there.
Oh,
Because
okay.
normally our event starts at 9.
Yeah.
But we moved it to accommodate their schedule because they're packing. They're literally packing 2 days of what they used to do up country into one long day here at the event. So they're going to start at 8, and everybody's going to get to see all the different animals. They're going to be in the biggest tent. It's an 80 by 120.
Oh, they got
all
a
the
big
animals.
tent.
They're using our the one that we normally use for the farmers market. So that'll be different this year. They'll have the big tent. All the animals will be there, and then they all get to go through the arena. So they do the animals by type, I guess, the pigs and then the goats and sheep. And then they get judged.
What about the cows?
The cows,
Cows,
yeah.
can't forget the cows, right?
So they all go through the whole day. And
Yeah.
then after that happens, so that starts at 8, runs until about 1, that they go through it. They have to get weighed. They have to do all these specific things for the judging. And then they go into, at about 1:30, all the buyers come down to the event, which is really nice because those are the grocery stores, the hotel chefs come down, and just, supporters of the livestock industry. They can come down and bid on the animals and, take home the animals. A lot of the restaurants will either take it back and, break it down themselves. They love to do that, right, the chefs. Or they donate it to the homeless shelters, and it gets taken out to get slaughtered, and then the food can go there.
I've been a vegetarian since I've been 15, but it seems like if it was me, I would go, if I raised an animal, I'd go buy it myself as a pet. I would, I'm sorry, it's just me. It's like, oh, no, don't kill those beautiful. I could never do it. I could never see my favorite little thing I raised, my beautiful pet raised. But I understand it, and I know the people involved in it, and I do respect the work that the kids do in this, and it's pretty amazing how they learn. And they learn a lot from that whole process.
Yeah, it's not an easy process.
No.
I mean, they require attention every day, morning, noon, and night. The kids are out there caring for them. They're not just getting judged on the look of the animals, but, the care. I guess there are signs, and you can see if they're deficient in something or another.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's the whole animal, the holistic approach to taking care of the animal. And then they get to go over to Oahu. So the top scorers get to go
the big
over.
Ones.
Yeah, so if they qualify here, they get to go over to Oahu.
And then their animal gets another week to live.
Yeah. Or they just, maybe people buy them and take them home and enjoy them too.
Well, but if you were going to Oahu, you'd have to have your animal still to go to Oahu, wouldn't you? Or how do they do that?
Yeah, they send them over.
Yeah,
They go by young brothers.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. Definitely not on the plane. Although there was that time I heard a story about the dairy when they were moving the cows over. They actually took. You ever hear that story? How they actually sent them by plane?
Did they?
The dairy cows. They actually took over a whole chartered plane. And
Wow.
I don't know how to do that. Well, this is a big one too. The Grand Taste, and that has been going on. I can't believe that's been going on 10 years.
10 years.
I cannot believe. I remember when you started it, and it was huge.
Yeah.
And that one grew and grew and grew, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you know all the chefs, and this is a biggie. And it's like a chef's club, but there's been a lot of new chefs coming. There's always a certain amount come and go, but one guy always stays in there, Joey.
Oh, don't you love Joey?
Joey has been, he's been there through most of it, right?
Yes.
But there's a lot of other new chefs, right?
So our returning winner from last year was Alvin Sevilla, who's now the executive chef at Humu at the Grand Wailea.
Oh, okay.
So he'll be back, and he's just so creative. I got to see some photos. We did a photo shoot of all the dishes because this year we're going to give out a recipe book.
Oh.
So that's a nice little
Very nice.
booklet with all the recipes from this year's chefs. With a beautiful photo and the chef's photo, and to celebrate our 10th year. So one of the interesting things is that we have more women than ever in Grand Taste. We had tried in the beginning to do an all-female, lineup, and a couple chefs just had to be away during the time. So hopefully next year we're going to be able to pull that together. But we do have a nice mix of chefs from all the way from Kapalua with Mary Men's Kapalua. Adam is joining us. He's a return chef. And then in Kaanapali, there's a handful of chefs along with Joey. There's Gavin from Japango at the Grand Wailea.
Yeah.
At the Hyatt. Have you had his food?
Yeah, amazing.
He's super talented.
Yes.
And then Jennifer, who's with the Westin Maui, they're going through a lot of renovations at their hotel.
Yeah.
So she's making this extraordinary dessert out of sweet potato. It's like sweet potato Oreo cookies. Something. It's supposed to be really good. I've only seen pictures.
Oh my gosh, my mind boggles at the idea of a sweet potato Oreo cookie. I can't imagine.
I think it's sweet potato ice cream, and then with Oreo cookies. But it's house-made Oreo cookies, not from the
from the
package.
Well, it might be worth going just for that, if nothing else.
Yeah. I know. I think there's 4 sweet dishes this year, and normally we'll have one. Most chefs do savory, so I don't know if it's a trend, but one of the chefs up in the Fairmont Kealani, her name is Amber Ching.
Oh.
She's in this year. Usually Thailand's in there, but what's really nice is that Thailand's showcasing
Thai pang, kind of pang, yeah.
He's allowing his chefs to come out.
That's nice.
Yeah, and give them an opportunity to be creative and engage.
Because he's been there a long time.
He's been there a long time.
Yeah.
So he has his pastry chef coming out. One of his pastry chefs, Amber Ching, and she's making a dessert using the Otani Farms carrots. They're mini carrots.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I want to say it's what those little mascarpone cookies or dessert.
My.
It's going to be really good. And I bet you it's going to be beautiful colors. Have you seen the carrots before?
Yes, they're amazing.
They're beautiful orange and purples and just really beautiful colors. So that'll be fun. And then we have another chef. Well, Jennifer's doing a dessert. Alvin's is a dessert. And then the other chefs are asked to focus on a vegetable as a primary ingredient. Just choose one and then make something out of that. And we're hoping that people that come to Grand Taste will be able to get learn how to make a single dish, instead of just having a vegetable as a complement to a protein dish, to just really have it as a meal.
I like that, being a vegetarian.
Yeah,
I think,
don't you think?
No, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think this is more where we're going anyway, because there's much more focus on eating healthy now than there ever used to be.
I agree. And more veggies and a
Yep.
little bit of protein on the side is what we should all be having. At
Yep.
least, I don't know, everybody just eats meat every day, and everybody loves it. But, we got to watch. For me, it's, more of a weight thing. But, you want to watch what you're eating. And these chefs are super creative.
I
so
bet.
they're making all these dishes. There's going to be a corn fritter. There's
Oh, my.
tamales
Oh,
with
my.
ulu. There's all kinds of things. I'm so excited.
So people aren't aware of the Grand Taste. How it works is you go and you watch, right? But then you get the taste choices after they cook it, right?
Yeah, so they're making it's going to run from 3 till 5. So the people, as soon as we open the doors, because it's a ticketed item at Grand Taste at AgFest, people come into the area that's designated for the Grand Taste, and they can basically visit any of the 12. Actually, we have 13 booths this year. 13 booths.
So
we normally have 12.
You don't have to wait. You can get
You don't have to
into
wait.
there.
You just go in, and they'll have their food ready. And we ask that everybody try all the dishes once, so that you can really, try to see the range of what's offered, and then go back and have your favorites after.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to encourage everybody to have one, because at the end of the day, people can barely eat, half of the dishes.
I get it,
So
because there are an amazing amount of food booths there.
Yeah. So we ask the chefs to do 2 bites. Like, don't do a whole appetizer. Do 2 to 3 bites so that people can eat everything. Because normally after 5 or 6 stops, people are like, "Oh, we're so full, we can't eat anymore." But so we're hoping, and then I think people are getting more akamai about the whole system and how to do it. Take a bite.
Is this under a tent, this whole thing?
The whole thing is we have a big tent where people can sit, but the chefs have their own individual 10 by 10s.
Okay.
So people tend to stand and kind of graze, but if they want to take a few dishes, they sit, they eat a few, and then they go back out, grab more. It's kind of go up and down.
Well, there's a lot of tastes and different ones going on, but I have to say this one, compared to some of the other ones, is very reasonable.
Yeah.
What's $30?
It's $30, and we're trying to get as many people as possible to be able to attend these sort of events. And we know we're able to do it because our chefs are willing to donate their time and come out and just participate, right? They want people to learn how to work with local ingredients, and then also make them familiar with the kind of food that they have, so people will go and visit them at their restaurants.
Every time I've gone to these, the chefs are so nice. And I know there's always lines of people, but they take the time to talk to you, and they're very friendly, and they're out there, and their assistants are out there. And it's really very cool. And the fact that you do get a chance to shake hands, meet people. And
they're very accessible.
Yeah, they are.
And, with social media, everybody's just,
pictures.
even, it makes it easier for people to approach each other, right? So they're taking selfies, and people are tagging each other, and then they all become friends. Everybody's so connected.
Yeah. So tell me about the food booths, because that's always a fun part.
Yeah, so throughout the day, we normally have about a dozen food booths, but this year we have 18 lined up to be at the event, and mostly similar to the Grand Taste, we ask the food booths to make food with local ingredients. So some will vary. That there's of course going to be Maui Cattle Company beef burgers. There's chow fun. There's kalua picking cabbage.
Do you know who's doing the chow fun?
One of the families. I think it's the Awais and Kalamas. They've been there since the beginning, so I think they're doing it again. We have someone that's doing Shaka Pops. Remember them? They were.
Oh yeah, I remember them very well.
Yeah, so they use
the
all their food.
volcano. And remember the one that's the white and the kind of They're always made on Maui.
They were
as well. Yeah.
So that was good because they were the first. I think they were the first company to get that award when the Maui Food Innovation Center, Food and Technology, did the contest, and they supported a local company, and then they marketed them.
And they've done very well.
They've done really well, and since then there's been all these other pops that have come up.
Yeah.
So they definitely started a big trend.
Yeah.
So there's lots of food. I mean, there's everything from Hawaiian plates to poke bowls. what's his name, Kyle, is going to be there with My Fresh Treatery.
Oh,
so that'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
nice. And he always does a good job. He's, a big buyer of local produce from Kumu Farms and a lot of the upcountry farms where he grew up. So he's always using what's in season. And, to this day, he still hasn't sent me his menu because he really makes it with whatever he's going to get.
I love that.
Yeah. So he'll
I'll
send
let you know that 2 days before.
Yeah. And so he's really good about that. If someone has a lot of eggplant, he'll create a dish out of eggplant. So it's whatever's going to be available. So it's always nice. His food's always good.
Farm to booth in this case. Yeah.
And then Threes will be there, Fork and Salad. The sister company to Threes Bar and Grill. And then this wonderful little, I don't know if it's called a restaurant or a cafe, but I've been to it twice. It's called Moku in Lahaina.
I haven't tried that
and
yet.
It's similar to what you would get at, I want to say Mana Foods. So really healthy food. So they're doing taro burgers. They're doing veggie.
That's for people like me, vegetarian
so it's really,
stuff.
really good. So they're doing that. They're doing like a poi donut of some sort.
A poi donut. Now that's a first.
Yeah.
I have never heard of a poi donut before, Charlene.
I think it's going to be like when they wrote it down on the menu.
It's like a poi donut.
It's like a poi. Well, you've had that. They make it on a
Because it's so
waffle.
gooey. How would you make a poi donut? Because it's kind of mushy, and it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I would really be interested in trying that out.
Should be
Poi
good because
donut.
there's poi donuts and from a bakery on Oahu that's really good.
Really? Oh, okay.
So, but I think this is going to be the healthier version of what that would be. And then they're also doing like vegetarian burritos. They'll have a bunch of things. And then they're also going to be in the Grown on Maui tent. They're going to do, cut up coconuts and sell coconut juice and all that.
Now that Grown on Maui tent is amazing. It's amazing. You go in there and there's just so many people with so many great things, including they had flowers before and everything there. So tell us what's going to be in that one.
So the farmers market's going to be a little bit different this year because we don't have the one big tent. The livestock industry is using that. We're going to have 4 tents that are lined up in a row, and one's going to be focused on Maui grows flowers. So it's going to be all the vendors.
Those are always popular.
Yeah, those that grow plants and succulents and protea, they're going to be in that tent. And then we have another one that's sort of a mix of the farmers and value-added products. So anybody who has that, there's another tent devoted just to that. And then we have a tent
What's a value-added product?
So anything like I'ikula lavender oils or Hawaii spice. They do all the spices.
Byproducts are from these farms.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we have another tent that's going to focus on coffee and pineapple.
Oh, that's going to be big.
That whole thing. And then the last tent has the Maui Cattlemen's Association and the Hawaii Farmers Union is in the event, so they are going to do a kui demonstration. So poi pounding, taro,
really?
Yeah. So that'll be all the kind of farmy tents, and then we have another really big tent.
And the farmy tents are going to be where?
They're sort of in the middle of the whole
okay.
field. So they're sort of the central tent, and then the tents, and then behind those 4 tents, we have what we call the education information tent. And that one is where all of the ag educators are. And what's been interesting over the years is that tent, and when we started, was always sort of I don't want to say dull, but, it was the least visited tent.
Right.
And over the years, the last 3 years, it's just shifted that it's so crowded. I mean, people just can't get enough. I think more people are just hungry for information. They want to talk. They're more aware of ag, maybe they're more involved in ag, that they have specific questions, and all these people that are the vendors there are the ones to ask. So all the folks from the University of Hawaii Cooperative Extension Program are there. So anything you want to know about agriculture, if it's flowers or plants or soil, they have all the answers.
There's a lot of people with a lot of questions to ask. I remember it started growing and growing, and it really is. I mean, more people are trying to grow their own, and I think there was that whole grow your own in schools.
Yeah.
Where people got involved because the kids were growing, and then they'd come home when their parents would help and get involved. So it's a great sign.
Yeah,
it's really
it's nice
wonderful.
to see how that's shifted. And I think, when we started the event 12 years ago, at the time, I want to say there were only maybe a handful of farmers markets.
Yeah.
At the swap meet, and then Honokawai had one, Hana, of course, had one. And now there's farmers markets every week, everywhere.
Yeah.
So, the access has become bigger and better as far as getting fresh produce from farmers markets. Upcountry has an amazing market every Saturday by the Pukalani Longs. So a lot of people have access. They can get a lot of produce weekly. But when we started, it wasn't like that. And so we've sort of shifted and gone less in the fresh produce arena and gone more into the ag education and demonstrations and so forth.
Used to be you could even ask about soils and ask about your own particular plants, and there'd be someone there to tell you about your plants if they have problems and everything too. So
that's still there.
That was popular.
Yeah.
That was popular. You have so much going on. Is there a website that people can go to kind of, because I know we're giving people a lot of information because there is so much going on, and of course it's bigger this year. What's the best place to go to? I know you brought in a map here, but I don't know, is this going to be on a website or is it just?
Yeah, I think it's on the website. It's MauiAgFest.org.
MauiAgFest.org. Because there really is a lot going on with this. And this, it's interesting on this one. Well, I mean, people, it's like swap meets. People tend to come out early, don't they? People tend to get out there early and want to. Of course, with the pancake breakfast and everything with 4-H, a lot of people come in early, right?
True.
Yeah, we can move you over there. Because it's one of those things that people really want to. Sometimes it's like the rummage sale at Seabury Hall, right? They want to get there first sometimes, and they want to do their thing. But then you have that big grand taste and everything going on.
Yeah, so
and
the grand taste it ends the day, so that's from 3 to 5.
Now, is there any entertainment?
We have some. I wasn't going to, but then we ended up adding it in. So I'm still sort of working on it, but we do have live music from 10 right after the pancake breakfast, and then right before the grand taste starts. So from 10 till 3.
You ought to check out Pat Simmons Jr. because he's totally he's a farmer. Pat Simmons Sr. they have ag land, and he takes care of the ag, and he takes stuff and even sells the stuff off his own property, and he has a CD. He's amazing. Of course, Pat Simmons Sr. is with the Doobie Brothers, but this Pat Simmons Jr. has an amazing CD out and knows everyone. He'd be really perfect if you could get him in there because he's totally into his farm and all that stuff. So
okay, I'll have to look him up. Yeah, we have 2 people lined up, plus we have the taiko drummers, and so I just need 2 more people, and they're still, the requests are out there, and I'm just waiting to confirm it. So crossing my fingers, but
you've had some amazing musicians in the past.
We did.
I remember.
And right now there's a new generation of musicians coming out, so it's really nice. We're gonna have one of them. I met them when I went to the Ulu Festival at Maui Botanical Gardens.
Oh, yeah?
I fell in love with their music. The name is, I think it's Kui Kavaya.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to have them. So they're actually going to sing twice. I love them so much. So they're doing 2 sets. So.
Well, it's an amazing expression of what is so important to us here. And I know you've supported the ag, and so has Warren for years and years and years and years. And you've watched it grow and grow and grow. And from kind of a very struggling industry, 25 years ago sometimes, and you've seen how people have really got involved and cared and helped foster it and grow it, right? It's become amazing, actually, how the ag has grown, and the food industry, of course, has grown over the last 30 years. So it's wonderful to have it all together, and it's a very popular event. So it's free, folks, but there is a $5 fee if you park in their parking lot, and there is a charge, just $10 for the Maui Legacy Farmers Pancake Breakfast, and there's a fee for the Grand Taste, which is very reasonable considering how usually tasting events go. That's just $30. So you can get tickets to the Farmers Pancake Breakfast, and which honors some of the greats.
Yeah, and the whole kids zone, so that's pretty popular with all the families.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, so all of that's free. We have bouncers, we have face painting, all of it's free.
Where is that going to be
this year? It's
going
to be on the Kanaloa Street side of the event, the field.
Yeah.
And so Haleakala Ranch is going to do this really cool project where kids can make koa seed balls.
What's that?
So it's just making koa seeds and I think other kinds of tree seeds that they roll into balls using clay, and then they get taken out by the watershed programs and to reforest
Oh, isn't that
the
nice?
southern slopes of Haleakala.
Oh, I love that. I
It's
haven't
really
heard
great.
of that before.
Yeah. So they launched it last year at AgFest, but we had such that bad weather that it was difficult to execute that activity. But they're coming back this year and they're going to do it. It's going to be fun.
Well, great. Maui AgFest.org or com?
Correct.
.org.
Org.
MauiAgFest.org for information. But if you want tickets, you go to Eventbrite for the tickets for the Grand Taste. Tickets will be available there, though, for the Grand
people
Taste.
can buy
if
tickets
you want there.
It just costs a little bit more.
It does. It's $10
Yeah.
more, so
Yeah.
if you want to save $10. And the Maui Legacy Farmers Pancake Breakfast, you should buy in advance? No, you can get those there?
But they can buy it there too.
Okay, and that one starts right at the beginning of the day.
Starts at 8.
8 o'clock, okay. 8 to 5, June 1st, and the new location at the Maui Fairgrounds War Memorial Field location.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I know you're very, very, very busy, and I appreciate you coming in. It's
Thanks
good
for
seeing
having
you
us.
again.
Thanks.
It's always
nice to see you. And nice to see you.
It's wonderful to see you, and congratulations on. People don't even begin to know the amount of work it takes putting on something like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So congratulations on getting it together, especially with the move and everything.
Yeah.
And you
So
can't-
it's been great. The county's been wonderful, and everybody, it's different. We're at a different location, and I think it's going to be lots of fun. We're so much more central, so hopefully we'll get a lot of drive-bys so people will stop in.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's great seeing you.
Okay, thanks for having me.